following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
Hey everyone, and welcome to 50 Shades of Bullshit. I'm your host, Christine Lalonde, and this is the podcast where we uncover the truth about online dating. Now let's begin.
Hey everyone, I'm Christine.
I'm Jada.
And this is 50 Shades of Bullshit. Hey, welcome back, everybody.
Welcome. How are you, Christine?
I'm alive.
Good. Nice
I'm
to
here.
see you.
I'm here.
Same.
So, what have you been up to? What's this week been like for you? Any dates? Anything exciting? Any news? I scouted somebody for you. I found someone.
I know. I'm sorry I didn't call you back today.
Share him for you.
Please. Yes, I can't wait to hear all about him. This week has just been very busy. It's just a lot of chaos, not only in America, but in the world of my clients. And some of them, their career is now changing. And it's just it's been a week, and it's Thursday, and I keep thinking it's Wednesday, so I'm a day behind on it's just been, like I said, I almost forgot to log on just now. So, hi.
Well, hi. I think that our entire country is really just kind of, I feel like, you know, that game as a kid with the big round fabric that had striped colors and you all grabbed a color and you flipped it up. I just feel like our entire lives were on top of that and somebody just went, fuck off, you know? And I stayed home yesterday with a headache and not feeling good. And I struggled emotionally, mentally, just worrying about all the people in my life that I love so much who are either LGBTQ plus or people of color, women. And as you can probably hear, I'm struggling a little with it. It's just an unsettling time, and it's been
very, very unsettling.
I sit here and cry for people who are going to live in fear. And I just wonder how the other half of our country just doesn't have a heart to think about the fact that we are all Americans and we are all people. And even the people who are, coming to our country who are not born here, who are maybe not even legally documented. There, as far as I'm concerned, you live in here in our country, you're American. And I don't give a shit if someone has the proper paperwork or not. If they're good people and they're contributing to society, then by God, treat them with respect. And it's just not going that way. And it hurts my heart really bad. Sorry.
I mean, I even think as a woman, like, oh my God, what are the next 4 years going to look like? First, and like I said, I have people that are in high profile positions and are literally about to be laid off in careers that they've had for 16 years, 7 years, 10 years. Some people relocated to this area and have been here for years. And I mean, essentially have like to the end of the month to it's just a lot. So it's just
because you're there in DC.
Yeah. And two, I mean, who wants to date? Like everybody's mind is like, I don't even know what tomorrow is gonna look like, let alone get fancy for a date. So it's just been today was a stressful day, but I'm here.
I've got to say that I've never felt more fearful, feeling like we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 steps closer to The Handmaid's Tale.
Oh my gosh, I know.
I mean, even if it's not literally exactly like that, the whole thing just feels
It's
like it. It just
for those of you who have not watched it, I suggest it is a phenomenal series, by the way.
yeah, it's about the American country who split
Mhm.
in half and
Yep,
took half the people, and uh, basically those people live in a concentration camp, pumping out
100%
children
babies.
for people, and
Mhm.
it's just disgusting. And if yeah, it's just very difficult.
It's very difficult, but this is very reminiscent of what that looks like, and like I said, I mean, this is what, day 3, day 4? Like,
Oh,
what is month number 5 gonna
oh
look
my
like?
god.
Like, I don't know. I'm laughing, but it's really not funny. But aside from that,
Yeah,
you
well,
know, what can you do?
right. Well, just so
You,
you
my
know,
dear, will be leaving and going to another country. So for
I
you,
cannot fucking wait. I I I can't even. I Part of me feels like, "Oh my god, I'm abandoning everyone," you know? But then, we get to the
oh,
place
that's a
where
nice message.
hold
It's a
on.
very
I feel
beautiful.
like, we we're getting to I don't know, I don't even know what I was saying. What is Casey saying? Casey says, "The way we both wear your heart on your sleeves is so beautiful." Oh, so excited this
Aw.
podcast crossed my path. Well, Casey is actually going to be a guest on our show, um,
Yay.
on February 6th. It is going to be, really tough one for those of you who have empathy for people who have been hurt and taken advantage of. It's going
Mm,
to be a really difficult show. We're going to talk a lot about SA. Um,
mm.
and Casey is very brave, very beautiful, and a badass who's going to come on and talk about her situation. And we can't wait to have her.
Well, yay. But,
Um,
tell me how your week has been. I will say I was a little worried about you. In speaking to my clients, I had a client that went out yesterday. She's in my LA client.
mhm,
She works in Santa Monica, but lives in, Santa Clarita. Does that sound right?
mhm,
Clarita?
mhm, mhm,
So she called me last night and was like, "I have to be evacuated. It's really bad. I've been trying to hold on, but they're like,
mhm,
you gotta go."
mhm,
And then my brother, who's now in Oxnard, was telling me it's
mhm.
about 50 miles from him. And I'm like, oh my God, what is going on?
A whole bunch of new fires have popped up. They're starting to get them under control, but they are still popping up, and they're going to. Though this weekend it's supposed to rain here, and I
Nice.
am really, really everything is crossed that we get enough rain that it makes a difference, but
Yeah,
not too much that we start having mudslides because that is
that's
next.
that's next. Yeah.
Quite frankly, I can't wait. I can't
Yeah.
wait to go.
Yeah.
I can't wait to go. Even my oldest daughter was texting me today saying that her and her little family is also thinking about moving
Yeah.
out of
Really?
out of the states like crazy. So yeah, it's a
Wow.
lot. A lot's going
A lot.
on.
Every
California
day I think
doesn't
about that.
need more people here, by the way,
Yeah.
people. We don't need more people. If y'all are thinking about moving to California, there's no
Stay
fucking
away.
room. We had a housing crisis before half of our, city burned down, and thousands and thousands and thousands of people have no home, and they're trying to find housing, and we've got people coming by the busload with their suitcases thinking they're going to make it in the industry. And by the way, our industry is suffering out here. We
Right
are
now.
not
Yeah.
shooting shit out here. Go to Georgia, go to New Mexico, go to all the states that are filming. That's where you need to go. Not
Yeah.
LA. This is not the place to be. Our shit's falling down.
I mean, a lot is falling down across the world. So
Just so you know, I've tried. I finished Love Is Blind Germany, and
I loved it. I just finished it over the weekend. So good, right?
Awesome. And
But
I've
you know what?
tried.
I gotta say, because I think we're gonna say the same thing, and I did not mean to cut you off. I was
Yeah.
very surprised by the bombshell girl and guy. I thought for sure she was gonna say yes to him, especially because when she said her vows first, she was just like, "You showed me all these things. I can't imagine us not being together." I was like, "Yay!"
I
And then she was,
know.
"But I'm not ready." Oh,
It broke my heart because
same,
I think they're perfect together.
same.
I'm in the middle of the reunion show, so I'm trying to see if maybe, you
I
never know.
haven't watched the reunion yet. I haven't gotten that far yet.
And then I jumped back into
Oh,
the
God.
American one, trying to finish it.
Ugh.
And I'm just so frustrated by the weird attitudes of most of the people on the show. It's like, I don't know.
I
I'm
don't
still
like
not
the
liking it.
American one. I like the ones from other countries so much better.
The people are.
Germany, I think, was my favorite. I liked, was it Dubai? They had one that was, I think, Dubai, which I got halfway through
I haven't
that
seen
one.
it yet, but I can't wait.
Really good. That's really good.
Yeah, I'm excited. Woo! So
Yeah.
anyway,
So anyway,
we've got an amazing guest on today. I am on Gen X Singles on Facebook, and that shit is entertaining. A lot of men are bitter.
I'm sure.
Um,
Can't wait to hear about it.
Jesus, that if you want some entertainment, go and get on Gen X dating or Gen
Oh,
X
God.
singles. It is a wild ride. But I found an amazing woman on the group.
Mhm.
And her name is Paige Dempsey. She is let me see if I can pull up her intro here. She is I lost my way.
Wait,
let me
see,
just read it and then we'll go
Okay.
from there. Okay, so it's episode 166, Gen X dating, how to not die from the hose of contaminated prospects. Yes, we drank from hoses and we no longer want to. We're diving into Gen X dating and how impossible it feels to find someone who isn't contaminated by their past relationship trauma and carrying it into a new relationship. And here to discuss it with us is Paige Dempsey. Paige is a no-nonsense, compassionate dating and relationship coach. You didn't know you needed. So, specializing in helping women take control of their dating lives and creating relationships that feel exciting, authentic, and deeply fulfilling. Most importantly, Paige will help you improve the relationship that matters most, the one you have with yourself. So, let's bring on Paige and let's celebrate Gen X. Woo!
Hello. Hi. Can you hear me?
Hi. Yeah.
Yep. Welcome,
Okay.
Paige. So we are 3 Gen X women right here.
Mhm.
It's good to be here.
Good to be here. Good to have you, Paige.
Good to have you, Paige. So what got you into helping women with relationships and dating and all that stuff?
I got into coaching about 5 years ago. And while I love life coaching and relationship coaching, what I see over and over again, and I'm sure both of you do too, is so many women suffering. And
I don't mean to laugh, but it's
no, it's like, and the suffering is always about them. And it's like something happens, ... And then they go, "What's wrong with me?" And I'm like, "There's nothing wrong with you. These guys are whatever. And B, like, this is just part of the process. Like, people forget, like, you're going to go out with somebody and then it's not going to work out. You're going to text and then they ghost you. And so I just really, having been on the other side of this and got married late, got divorced early, I always say, I just want to help women understand, like, you have so much more control over your dating life and your relationships than you think. And, Christine, as you mentioned in that Gen X singles, where I'm in like some moms groups and some other like over dating, and, he did this and it sucks and I'm so hurt. I'm like, you don't have to be hurt. This is not something we need to be hurt about. We don't even need to spend any energy on it. So I just feel like I've got a pathway through that I can offer people that is cleaner, easier, better, more compassionate, more compelling, more empowered, that women should just really take advantage of.
Mm-hmm. I in the past, I probably would have said, if someone was starting to date, you might have 1 out of 5 dates that are, great. But nowadays, I'd probably say more along the lines of 1 out of 20.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if
great. I mean, there's great, and then there's like okay, and then there's like, oh, it's fine, or maybe we'd be friends, and then there's terrible. But yeah, you get the whole variety. And I think women who are our age, who are getting like back into dating after divorce, or they just took a break, or they haven't dated forever, like they don't realize that, when like I don't anymore, but a lot of people go into dates thinking this should work, and I hope he likes me. And I'm like, no,
don't
this
give
guy.
2 shits.
I don't hope he likes me. I got to figure out if I like him.
I think that we should do some kind of challenge for women to say, okay, here's the objective. 20 dates. You have to go on 20 dates, whether it be over a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, doesn't matter. 20 effing dates, okay? And your goal is to not attach yourself to anybody
Any
until
of them.
Finished the 20
All
dates
20.
and then look back and say, okay, who's stuck around? Who's still texting me? Who's still calling? Who's still asking me out on dates? Because, maybe 1 out of the first 5, 3 months ago is still communicating with you, still asking you out. Just because they are doesn't mean you should let go of the next ones. You should solidly try to do this and just see how it really works. Oh, we should.
Yeah, but I'm going to interrupt you, because more importantly, it's not who's still keeping in touch with you, but who are you feeling called to still keep in touch with? But from a detached kind of place. Like I always say, my thing is, I talk to these women like, oh my God, and I'm nervous and I'm going on a date. I'm like, I just think of it like going to have coffee with somebody you work with. Like, you don't need to decide if I'm going to marry this guy. You just need to decide you want to spend an hour with them. And you might find out that 19 out of 20 times you're like, I actually don't. Thank you, goodbye. Like, it's not worth getting all worked up about, So
exactly.
Yeah, who's still making an effort, but also who are you still wanting to make an effort with too as you go?
Do you know what's so funny about this? Well, it's not really funny, but I see it all the time as a matchmaker, because my job is obviously matching women and men and working with them through this process. So when I get a client that has their match and then they like them and then they're like, should I just wait, should I see where it goes before you match me with anyone else? I'm like, girl, it has been one date.
No.
The point is to date and just
give it a minute.
Who you like and whether you mesh and what that looks like. So it's so interesting that you say that, because so many people are ready after that first date to walk down the aisle and get married.
Okay, so this is it. Let me give you go ahead. Sorry, I mean,
I'm just going to say women want to get too attached too quickly.
Absolutely. And I have I wrote a blog that said something like, don't start at the top of the mountain. And I was trying to put this, post this, I've done this before, but you guys, we're Gen X, you remember The Price is Right. And then do you remember the mountain climber guy, the cliffhanger, and then you'd over money and he'd fall off the side. I'm like, every woman starts up here. They start at the peak. Like, oh, I met this most, if you read all those posts on these online Facebook, oh, I met the most amazing guy, and we got out. I'm like, how many times have you been out? They're like, well, once. I'm like, no, their only way off the top of the mountain is to fall down. I'm like, you have to climb slowly. You got to you're used to the elevation. You got to start at the bottom. If you're starting at the top, there's nowhere to go. You're only going to find out the bad stuff. Go slowly, work your way up a little. We don't. And the other thing that I think is hilarious too, and you'll both appreciate this, I did the math, and I usually just say 40 because, some women we work with are 30, some are 50 or 60. If you have dated somebody for 6 weeks and you're 40, you have known them, I'll be close, but it's 0.22% of your life. Okay, so we don't need to rearrange our whole life for somebody we've known for 0% of our life.
Exactly. And I will stand by this. I will actually stake something to stand by this. People can pretend to be a certain way for at least 6 months. After fucking 6 months, people start to not be able to hold on to what they're pretending to be. So after 6 months is really when you're starting to see what this person is like, and people are like moving in, closing down their accounts for dating sites, stop seeing other people that really could have been a potential because one guy started to pay a little bit too much attention to you, and all of a sudden you're thinking, oh, there's nobody else, and I'm perfect here. And then guess what? 6-7 months down the road, this tool is, asking you for money when you go out on dates because he forgot his wallet at home, because the dude doesn't have a fucking job and you didn't know it.
I have some thoughts about that. And Jada, were you going to say something too?
Yeah, well, I was going to say, Christine, to your point in what you were saying, do you have a certain, meaning you yourself, do you have a certain timeline? Like, do you say, okay, I'm going to give it 8 months. I'm going to give it 10 months. I'll give it 3 months. Do you yourself give it a certain amount of time when you meet somebody?
Yeah, they don't last long. They can't hold the crazy longer than a week, 2 weeks, a month. I'm sorry, they can't. And I am so clear about what I want. I'm very clear about who I am. I'm very clear about my standards of joy and my life. I am putting myself first finally. And so when I've done that, I am able to see the crisis that's going on inside of people, the chaos, a lot sooner. So I'm happier sticking with myself than I am sticking it out with people that I'm like, whatever.
You don't know. Yeah. I get that.
I mean, if I feel like I'm falling in love with somebody, then yes, I'm going to take my time and wait 6 months, wait 8 months, wait 10 months, a year to see where it's going to go before I make any rash decisions. Because again, they can't hold on to the bullshit long enough to keep it going after that.
I'll piggyback on that too. And something that I think is important for women our age that I notice a lot is that dating after divorce. And again, sometimes I use, just like examples that's not everybody, but it's a lot of people. Women will start dating men. Like, I no longer date men who are newly divorced, period, end of story. I've done it so many times. Every now and then I make an exception, and then I'm like, no. Or newly separated, newly divorced, anything with one foot still in the old relationship. And I'll tell you why. 100 out of 100 times, the guy comes in and he's like, yes, I'm ready to be dating. I'm ready for a relationship. And then they get into a relationship. And to your point, Christine, I can tell you almost exactly, it'll be 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. And then they'll go, oh, wait, I wasn't, I thought I was ready for a relationship, but I'm not ready for this kind of relationship because they're not untangled from their last one. So there's just a lot of stopping and starting and getting attached and getting unattached. And again, this is where I think like women don't realize, like, this is just part of it. And every time you do that, you learn a little bit about yourself and you learn a little bit about what you like and what you don't like. But just because you've been dating somebody for 4 to 6 months, I agree with you completely. It's like, you got to go through a year. You got to go to a wedding. You got to go to a funeral. You got to get through the holidays. You got to have a rainy day, a snowy day, a sunny day, a shitty day, a good day. Then come back and tell me he's the love of your life.
Because you need to see how they're showing up for you.
And themselves and their people and their friends.
And not showing up for you.
And everywhere in their life,
I think that when you're talking about Gen X's, okay, we are in our 40s, 50s,
60s, I think, too, maybe.
Early 60s-ish, 60s, yes. Okay. So let's just say 40, 50, 60s, okay? We've either never been married without kids, never been married with a handful of kids, or newly divorced or been divorced for X amount of time, but we've all had traumas, dramas, and the thing is that we've all come from a generation where we had to take care of ourselves. We had to be their parents had to reminded all the time that they had children. You know, we drank out of that hose. You know, we were wild children, and we've grown up to be independent and tough and gritty and sarcastic and sarcastic. Totally. But the thing is that when you're newly divorced, if I find a guy who is newly divorced and he's a Gen X, he has to be at least 2 years divorced before I'll even remotely see him. Because that's almost like somebody in AA. It's the same thing with that for me. If somebody is has an addictive personality, for me, that person has to have 5 years under their belt before I'll date them. The thing is that it's so easy for these people to fall off the wagon and to want what's comfortable for them when they've been newly divorced or they're separated. Any wind that their ex is seeing somebody else or they're seeing somebody, there's drama, trauma, and bullshit. I think that a lot of people have very unhealthy attachment styles. And when they're leaving a relationship and they are heading into a new one or thinking they're going to, there's just so much there that is just too much.
Touched on here. Yeah. Well, and I'll take that further for anybody who's listening. I don't just say 2 years divorced. I say 2 years, like however much time divorced, and have you done some dating already? And I want the answer to be yes.
Healing.
Because I am not breaking anybody else in. I'm not taking on any new projects. I'm not being the first. I had a whole year of like 2019 where like seriously almost every guy I went out with, I mean there was several like in a row, they're like, you're my first date in 25 years, because they had like their 20 or 18 or 50 because they had married their college sweetheart. I'm like, and every single one was like, this is amazing, you're amazing, this, oh my god, it's better than I expected. And then every single one like X time later are like, oh, I'm not ready for all this. I'm like, well, no shit. Right. So I just anytime it's like, oh, I've been single for 7 years. That's fine. Have you dated anybody? No, then you're not dating me.
Right.
I'm not going to be the person to teach you how to grow up emotionally and start dating. You can find somebody else for that.
Yeah,
sorry,
because
ladies, I just had to say really quick, my my laptop died.
I wondered.
I was like, for a second.
I figured so.
But I was trying to find it. But hi, it's charging.
Well, you're back and I'm happy. Yeah, I think that a lot of people have very unhealthy attachment styles, and the love bombing comes on real fast, and you know, they start feeling these big emotions that are too big for them to handle, and they're not used to it, and they think, oh my god, this must be love, and they are just not compatible for you. And those things can get all tangled up. That's why you need to date multiple people for a little while. You need to, check it out and see, because we all change. I'm not the same fucking person that I was in my 20s, 30s, 40s.
Thank God.
Thank God. And, I've evolved, and I'm hoping other people evolve. I tell you one thing that I think that everybody should ask when they're Gen X dating. Oh
gosh.
I think we should ask for therapy paperwork or receipts.
Yeah. Oh.
I think we should be asking, how much have you gotten help? Have you been to therapy?
Girl, I am asking that. I ask that so much, so often, and I ask it early and I ask it often. Like, oh, your ex-wife was an alcoholic and she divorced you and she left you for your best friend. Have you been to any therapy for that? And they'll be like, no, I'm fine. I'm like, okay, we're not.
No.
Like, no, you're not. No, you're not. Going to the gym isn't therapy. That's endorphins, but that's not therapy.
But it used to be when so many people thought therapy was such a bad thing, and like, oh my God, JD went to therapy, he's probably crazy. And now it's like, I feel like therapy is a must. Like, you want somebody that has done the work on themselves, because here's the thing, we all need some help at times. So I think
some more than others. Thank you.
But I think it's important to know that someone is really, really healed past certain things, whether it's childhood trauma or just things they've gone through in their adult life. It's really important.
I have a question for both of you on this, and I wonder if you've noticed this. I have noticed, and I just had this conversation actually with a gentleman the other day, with a guy I was chatting with, but also some of my women friends. To me, again, broad generalization, but it seems like most women, like almost every woman I know, is doing the work, is doing the healing, is going to therapy, is listening to podcasts, is reading books, and is like up-leveling.
Growing.
Many men, not all, but many. Now, to your point, Jada, more and more are like, oh, therapy. Yes, a lot of people, men aren't. And I think there's a mismatch, because I find that as we've gotten older and as I've kind of healed out of some of my own shit, like you got to be on my level, you know? And I don't even mean that financially necessarily. I don't even mean it professionally. I mean emotionally. And there are so many of these guys that are like not on my level. I'm like, I can't, it just, you know what I mean? So have you, either of you seen that or?
Yeah, for me, it's a vibrational level. For me, it's how are you vibrating? You're vibrating lower if you've not gotten any help, any, buddy to talk to, any therapy, any like movement, as far as like, hey, do I see self-help books piled next to the nightstand or in the living room? You know what I mean? It's like, if you're not working towards being a better, higher vibrational person, we're never going to work, because I'm vibrating up here and you're vibrating down here, and I'm not fixing you, and I'm not going to be your therapist. Now, if you become my boyfriend and my fiance and my husband or whatever, I will put in the work to work together on a situation if there is ever one that comes up. But I'm not going to, like you said, Paige, I'm not going to fix you. I'm not going to like help you heal and practice on me. Fuck that shit. That's the same thing with dating younger men.
Well, yeah. I was going to say, a lot of women do take on the role of unpaid therapists for these guys, and it feels good for a while. And then I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I don't do that anymore, and it's like it feels like you're bonding, and we're bonding because he's telling me about his issues and my problems. And I'm like, no, you're just, Here's the other thing I've decided. I just like these little takeaways. I'm like, I am not going to be anybody's emotional support animal anymore. Like, go get a dog. Like, I am not going to be your emotional support puppy.
I love it.
Get a dog, get a therapist, and come to me when you are fully formed, emotionally mature person who is able and willing to like have a mature adult relationship.
I think for me, what did you lose, Christine? What did you lose?
I lost a pen. I wanted to write it down because I want to make sweatshirts or t-shirts or a hat.
I'll put it in the chat.
Emotional support animal.
I was going to say, I think for me, it's almost a requirement that you have done the work and have either seen a therapist or are currently seeing a therapist, but you are through that phase of life. And honestly, quite frankly, I think therapy is ongoing. So it's not just that you went one time in your life and you're healed. I think consistently doing those check-ins and making sure you're good is really important to me. I just cannot, I mean, I've got 2 grown kids. I'm in a phase in my life. I don't want to babysit anyone. I don't want to take care of anyone. I definitely don't want to change anyone. I want them to come to me already there.
Grown.
So right.
Not with potential.
There we go.
I am not raising any more children.
No.
Men need to get their shit together. I am not doing it. It's this, I was saying, I tend to date younger than me.
I do too.
I'm not fond of my age or older. Yeah, you gotta be at least
too old.
I don't know, Christine. I've come across some good ones that
send them over, baby. Send them over, because bitch ain't seeing them. They're either fat, out of shape, losing all their hair, which fine. I don't mind that actually, but they're not taking care of themselves, and they want women to fucking look good and be doing our nails and our hair and our eyelashes and our makeup and, bullshit. All those men on, I'm seeing him on our group going, we like the natural. My ass. I will pull up every single post that has the stupid pick me pictures and their age and the date and where they live, and everybody's like, oh, and everybody's liking the pictures. The natural woman getting very little likes. All the fakey women getting a shit ton of likes. So fuck you guys and your bullshit.
How old are your kids, Christine?
I'm sorry?
How old are your kids, Christine? Are they older or younger?
31, 28, and 18. The last one is a senior.
And then how about you, Jada?
My oldest is 30 and my youngest is 23.
Okay, so I'm in a totally different place, which is why I also date younger men, is that I have kids who are coming up on 12 and 3. Oh, that's a whole different thing we can talk.
Oh,
I date younger men because I'm just in a totally different space in life. Like most people's kids are in college, out of college, and I'm like, well, I just had a baby 3 years ago, so
good for you. Bless your heart. I'm in my 40s, and I think sometimes my son tells me, my youngest son, all the time, Mom, you could have one more baby, and I'm like, the jig is up. No.
Yeah. It's very unusual. But I'll see Christine, I'll see people posting in the Gen X thing going, I'm a grandma and I have to watch my kid, my grandkids, and do you think anybody will date me? And I'm like, sis, I'm a mom who has little kids. Like, so you have to find the people who have the same energy. And most of the people who have younger kids are 10 years younger than me, and that's, so I think that also is a good reminder, though. We can't just talk about, would you date 10 years younger? Would you date 10 years older? It's like, you have to date somebody who's like in your same life space and season and like emotional maturity. And you can date a 30 whatever year old that's emotionally mature, and you can date a 60 something that's not. Like, this is all part of, like, you just got to find it out,
Yeah.
Okay, tell me again, what is this group? This group is on Facebook, but what is the name? Like, where are all these people coming from?
Gen X Singles. It's called Gen X Singles. You got to check it out.
There's also one called like dating over 50 discussion. I mean, there's a million of them, like dating over 50, dating over 40, so.
Just a bunch of moaning and groaning. Why can't I find anybody? And then the next message will be, I just want to live in my house in the middle of nowhere and do nothing but sit on the couch and get fat and eat Cheetos and watch TV. Well, that's why you're not meeting anybody. You're not working out. You're not mentally fixing the trauma, drama, and bullshit upstairs. You're not, going out to meet people. You're not, being active. You just like, hey, do you want to build a house in the mountains together? No, I don't know you, you crazy fool. You probably bury me under the porch. It's like, what the fuck? So I don't know. I date a lot of what the fuck was that? What was that?
Hot MILF.
Someone from Vortex Comedy said hot MILF radio. Yeah.
I
know it.
We'll take it.
I date younger, okay? And recent, I went out with somebody who was early 30s. And he was a little obsessed with me. And everybody's like, he's so cute though. Yeah, but he sucked as a lover, and everybody's saying, oh, just training. No, I'm past the training department. I am no longer somebody's trainer. And I'm not going to teach no new projects. And I'm not going to teach an older man how to respect me because he's lost all respect for women. He's not doing the work, and he expects me to do the work to save us. And I'm not. No. Again, I'd rather move to Spain, travel Europe, fix myself, and live happily ever after in some other country in a castle by myself. Rapunzel. And I am not letting down my fucking hair. No.
That's amazing.
No.
What, Paige, are you also in California?
Oh my God, I'm in Omaha, Nebraska. So
I
am right in between you two.
I'm from Wyoming.
The dating mecca of the world. Yeah.
Nebraska. Listen, I went out with a couple of men from Nebraska.
I was just
know
going to
what
ask,
it
how's the dating scene in Nebraska?
Ugh,
is.
terrible.
Dismal.
Terrible.
Sorry, Nebraska men. If you got some
If
great
you are not
Nebraska men,
terrible, look me up. But
step
first
it up.
of all, it's a
Come
massively
on.
red state, and I'm a massively blue dot, so that's
Mhm.
challenging.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's just no, not amazing. I mean, I
Yeah.
still find good people, but not amazing.
Yeah.
So,
Interesting.
but here's the nice thing though, is you said, Christine, a little bit ago, oh, some people you only go out with for a week or something. I think this is another thing people need to know and remember is you have to really put yourself forward to call in the right people. So like on one of my dating profiles, it says elect more women, and the right guys say love your t-shirt, and the wrong guys are like swipe left, so
wait a minute, what is the shirt say?
like just progressive stuff like elect more women, or things like that are sort of progressively oriented, so that the people who are liberal or more progressive in this red area,
you mean
those are the
somebody
folks
with
that
a heart and
empathy and
empathy for
follow the worst person in the world. Yeah. So, but I think
others,
women need
because
to do that
unfortunately,
too,
our empathy and only out for themselves. So I'm not going to date somebody like that. I don't give a fuck what somebody's religion is. I don't give a fuck what somebody's political beliefs are. I really don't. I care about how you're going to treat other people and myself. And I'm finding that a lot of people who have the red state mentality, okay, are not having empathy for others.
Yeah, 10 years ago, I didn't care about your politics, but now politics,
Now
I
it's
do.
very
if you
important.
follow the orange Cheeto, we have different morality.
Yeah.
We don't even have the same, this isn't politics. This is like morality. So
Yeah.
one of my friends had posted like a story or something the other day about, even on the dating apps now, the guys around here again say like, or anywhere, say apolitical. And it's like that you can't do that anymore. That's not enough anymore. And it's yeah.
You have to care. You have to give a shit about other fucking people.
Yeah.
I don't care. If I hear an iota of somebody saying anything mockery towards the LGBTQ plus, I'm out. And they're going to get a throat punch before I go. Okay? Throat punching is going to ensue. I have very bony elbows, and I've been to Krav Maga and self-defense. I'm going to fucking take you down. I'm sick of it. I'm sick to death of people thinking their politics are right when they are not putting humans first. Other people.
I haven't really matched with anybody like this lately, but every now and then in the last year or two or three, or like whatever, if it's not clear on a profile, like sometimes they don't have politics, I'm like, well, the other stuff kind of lines up. Maybe I'll swipe right. I mean, pretty quickly, I'll ask, and this is what I'll say. I say Donald Trump. What do you say? And they will answer something like, well, like, I don't totally agree with his politics, but he's good on the economy. And I'm like, no, fuck you. No. Like, they try to skirt, well, I supported him, but I'm like, no, like sometimes you ask these like open-ended questions and you can get a lot of good information. Like I'm not wasting my time. So people, if you have things that are important to you, and if it's not politics, if it's dating a woman with kids who are younger, if it's dating, what finances, politics, whatever, ask it early so you don't get emotionally invested and like waste all this time. But like, I literally, if I'm like just started matching with somebody and just started communicating, I put it up pretty quickly. Like, hey, I don't see from your profile, like, where do you land on the current administration? And if they say anything other than he is the biggest piece of shit human that ever walked the face of the earth, we are not a good match. Like, and I know that. Like, that's the only correct answer to me. Anything less than that is not enough.
He's done things. That's fine. You're going to have to live with that. He's going to have to live with that. But when your things start bleeding in to affecting 90% of the people in my life in a negative, disgusting, derogatory, disrespectful manner, I'm done. I'm just I'm done. More than 90%, I was thinking about this yesterday, are people in my life who are of color, LGBTQ plus, and women. The last percentage is like 90s. I mean, under 10%-ish of white average guy in my life. And the only reason is because I have to work with people. I know clients. I have friends and family who are, who vote red. But if you don't give a shit about the other 3/4 of the people in this country, then we're done. We're just done. I don't even want it.
It's so interesting that I've been in matchmaking for 11 years. And when I first started, we never asked about politics. Like it just was
politics and religion. You didn't talk about it.
We didn't talk about. And now, honestly, I think too, a lot of it depends on the age. I think some of my younger clients still really could care less. But I think as we get into the 40s and 50s, politics and still religion and values are like the top 3 things that are going to keep someone interested and invested. Or we'll have someone they can say, Jada, what is middle of the road? This person's saying they're middle of the road. I need to know what that means. Like, where do they stand?
And I think you have to ask the person though, because what you think is middle of the road, they might think is far left or far right, or oh well, I'm middle of the road, or they'll piece it out. Well, I'm fiscally conservative, but I'm socially whatever, and it's like, no, you don't like half the people that or like, to your point, 90% of the people in our country or that live in my community, and I'm not going to entertain that, and I'm not going to argue with people about it. I think that's another place women waste a lot of time in dating energy is, arguing and then, in these rude D-pick messages and these rude guys that are sexually suggestive and the third message and they write them back this whole thing. I'm like, this is why everybody feels exhausted with dating, is because you're exhausting yourself with the low vibration piece of shit.
Low hanging fruit.
You just just stop putting your energy on that and open up your energy to like the better ones, the good ones, the productive ones. Like, stop fucking explaining it. They're not gonna get it. They don't care what you say. You're a stranger on the internet and you're just stroking their ego.
Here's the thing.
That's why I keep saying, like, take control of your dating life.
Men are going sexually really fast and women are appalled by it. But like you said, Paige, I agree with you 100%. They go at them with these long paragraphs. Bitcha. No. What you need to do is block, delete. If men get no responses from us, and it's an epidemic where we're all just like block, delete, men are going to start to learn. That's the only way they're going to learn. Stop schooling them. They're going to learn real fucking fast that, ooh, whoops, that dick pic I sent, or the, hey, can
Maybe
I
I
see your boobs
that.
or what are you wearing? Or, are you this and that and this? Just don't respond. Just get the fuck out. They'll learn real fast. When nobody responds to them, their bitch asses are like done. Okay.
The other thing
is on fire.
Well, the other tactic I'll do, if there is somebody who has maybe potential, you had some good vibes going, you had some good messaging, and they ask an off question. 1, I don't correct, I don't whatever, I just don't respond. And then you can tell if they're like, oh my God, sorry, I hope that didn't offend you. Like, see if they course correct. But yeah. Like, you just, ladies, especially, and men too, like, you have to control your dating experience. And you know what I'll say that has been really helpful from a coaching perspective? Men wanting to be sexually forward is not in itself a problem. Like, if we just sort of allow that, that's fine. And women can be that way too. You just don't have to like it for you. And so it's just a very great, easy to live. Like, you don't have to be offended. This guy sent me a dick pic. And so don't even be offended. Just go, not for me. Just like he's wearing a shirt you don't like, or he's like holding up a fish pic. Like, you don't even have to get to the level of offended. You can just go, because there are some people that, and maybe even ourselves sometimes, like, there's seasons where you're like, I just want to hook up, buddy. There's seasons where you want a relationship partner, and that's fine. But oh my goodness. let those people find each other, but don't take it upon yourself to be, 10 guys messaged me and they were so rude. Like that to me, like with all the online dating I've done, I'm like, it doesn't even get a blip on the radar. I don't even care because I don't even give it any space in my life,
Exactly. Don't give it the energy.
Time flies.
It does. Time flies. I was going to give a collective one card read really fast, just because I've pulled a card and then I put it back and I pulled the same card accidentally and I put it back and I pulled the same card again 3 times. So obviously this is the card. So it's a 4 of Swords. It is the secure mind, the stability of ideas, a calm inner world. People need to really focus on calming themselves, focusing on themselves, and meditating and relaxing, and center yourselves, ground yourselves. I think that's a great wrap up for today. Thank you, Paige, for being here, and for everybody who came to listen. And
we love you. We love you.
We do. Same time, same place next week. And until then, let's keep this shit real.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share with your friends, like and follow us on Instagram at 50 Shades of _bullshit and Facebook at 50 Shades of Bullshit. Thanks so much for listening, and we really hope to see you again next week.